Colours blur and twist, painted strokes giving shape to something fragile and unstable. A world rises from haze, shifting beneath your steps, half formed and half forgotten. Battles ignite in sudden bursts, enemies scattered like fragments of memory. The dream reshapes itself again and again, daring you to push further into its shifting paths. This is Shape of Dreams. Though best experienced in co-op, my reflection comes through the lens of solo play. Combat is where the game makes its strongest impression. The controls are sharp and responsive, every strike and ranged ability snapping with clarity. Ranged play in particular flows well, letting you carve through enemies while weaving between attacks. Abilities land with satisfying impact, though some take long to recharge, slowing the pace at times. Dodging is vital, though its cooldown can be unforgiving, making timing feel risky rather than fluid. Still, the moment-to-moment action feels powerful, especially when the right upgrades begin to stack. Enemies are generally forgiving, dissolving quickly before your attacks. They rarely overwhelm on their own, but serve as the canvas for your abilities to shine. It's when the bosses appear that the tension rises. These fights are crafted to punish mistakes, demanding focus and quick reactions. They can feel like sudden spikes in difficulty, but they also provide some of the most memorable encounters. Moments where survival hinges on every choice. Facing them often feels less like a duel of patience and more like a contest of strength. But that chaos carries its own thrill. Progression unfolds at a deliberate pace. Unlocks come slowly, but they bring meaningful rewards and build variety. The game leans heavily on RNG, which can make runs swing between underpowered trudges and exhilarating bursts of dominance. When fortune aligns, you feel unstoppable, tearing through the dream with ease. When it doesn't, the climb is steeper, but the foundation of the combat keeps it engaging enough to press forward. The overworld map adds to that sense of progression. Veiled in fog of war, you only ever see the next tile, choosing paths without knowing what lies beyond. At first it creates tension, the feeling of venturing into the unknown. Over time, the events and encounters can start to echo one another, but the mystery of what comes next still gives each run a sense of momentum. Whether you veer left or right, you're pushing deeper into the dream, uncertain of what waits at the end. Runs do carry a certain rhythm. There are stretches where clearing enemies feels routine, followed by spikes of intensity when bosses or difficult encounters appear. That unevenness may not work for everyone, but it also mirrors the dreamlike quality of the game itself. Calm one moment, chaotic the next. Balance between ranged and melee builds favors distance, making ranged combat feel smoother and more forgiving. Melee carries more risk, as closing distance often means taking hits, but it can still be rewarding for players who enjoy a challenge. The choice between styles gives players freedom, even if one feels more practical than the other. What keeps you returning even when runs falter, is the atmosphere. Shape of Dreams is gorgeous, with a painterly, dreamlike art style that makes each area feel like a living watercolor. The shifting palettes, soft edges, and fluid animations give every run a sense of wonder. The hunters, reclaiming territory, add a looming sense of urgency, a reminder that this dream is always collapsing inward. The story is light, more suggestion than detail, but the concept of traversing fractured dreams gives weight to the journey. The difficulty overall leans approachable. Regular enemies pose little danger, making the game accessible to newcomers, while bosses provide the real test. It doesn't reinvent the roguelike structure, but it delivers a solid take on it. Intuitive, easy to pick up, and rewarding in short bursts. For those looking for a more punishing, skill-driven roguelike, it may feel uneven. But for players wanting something atmospheric, responsive, and cooperative, Shape of Dreams offers plenty of value. For me, the reflection is clear. The combat is satisfying, the visuals are striking, and the bosses are challenging highlights, even if the progression leans on patience and chance. The game carries both calm stretches and sudden chaos, and while not every moment is memorable, the whole dream is worth stepping into. Would I recommend it? Yes, if you're looking for a safe roguelike, Shape of Dreams is exactly that. It doesn't surprise, but it doesn't disappoint either. You know what you're getting. Responsive combat, striking visuals, and a loop that may not reach new heights, but holds steady. For players wanting something reliable to pick up, especially with a friend, this is a dream worth stepping into. Shape of Dreams is a vision painted in watercolor. Delicate, shifting, and imperfect, but worth exploring before it fades.